Welcome to another episode of My Two Cents. This is going to become a weekly phenomenon where I take a look at some news stories that annoy me and talk about them a little bit. I was perusing through a magazine that I don't usually like very much. It's this right here. It's the Week magazine. And I came across an unusual article. You have this little paragraph right here. I'm just going to read it to you. A new Cornell University astronomy course challenges the conventional wisdom that the black in black holes has nothing to do with race. The course, Black Holes, Race and the Cosmos, will introduce students to the fundamentals of astronomy concepts through readings in black studies. The music of Sun Ra, Outkast, and Janelle Monáe, I don't know who she is, will be used to conjure blackness through cosmological themes. Now, just so you know, every time I said something that sounded really stupid, like conjuring blackness through cosmological themes, in every instance like that, it was in quotes, so that's obviously taken from the syllabus. So the conventional wisdom is that the word black in black holes has nothing to do with race. But this class wants to examine whether or not that's true. It wants to determine, does in fact, when we call something a black hole, are we actually talking about black people? One might say that that was an extremely dumb theory, but let's just go with it. It should be mentioned that I have no background whatsoever in astronomy. I know I look like I could be an astronomer, but I'm not. But my understanding of what a black hole is that you have a collapsed star where the gravity is so strong that nothing can escape it, not even light. If you can't have any light, then it appears to the naked eye that it's black. It was as if you were in a small room with no windows and you turned the lights off. What color is that now? Is it orange? Just pure orange all around us when we turn the lights off? Do we see blue? Yellow, perhaps? Or when we turn the lights off and there's no source of light coming from anywhere, do we see black? That's what black holes are named after. But no, I would assume that this class being taught at Cornell University, which is an Ivy League university for God's sake, is going to try to convince students that no, in fact, the name black hole is in fact racist. That's going to be the thesis, and they're going to play you some Outkast in the class in order to help drive the message home. I wonder what the tuition is at Cornell right now. How does somebody write a sentence like, we're going to try to conjure blackness through cosmological themes? Somebody wrote that on a syllabus and was serious when they did. Maybe I'm missing something. You know, if you're black and you're watching me say this right now and you're like, dude, you're just getting it all wrong. You know, we need more classes that conjure blackness through cosmological themes. It's really important, and let me explain why. If you have a good reason for that, by all means, leave it in the comments below. But what the fuck? Cosmological themes, Outkast in an astronomy class? What are you talking about? So I think we've adequately settled that the reason why black holes are called black is because there's no light in a black hole. So if you have a whole bunch of light and then you have a black hole in the middle of it, what color is the hole? Is it red? So whoever the idiot is who came up with this class, that guy should not be teaching at Cornell University or anywhere. So the next story from the week is that, as we all know, Jeff Bezos is planning to go up in his latest Blue Origin rocket into space, which I find pretty intense. I mean, he's actually really putting his money where his mouth is. I mean, there's at least a decent chance that the thing's going to explode. So he's actually going in the thing. I think that's pretty bananas. And I think there's over 20,000 people so far that are signing a petition to have, the world authorities deny Bezos re-entry to Earth. And it says here, quote, because he's an evil overlord hell-bent on global domination. I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I agree with it. I would sign that petition. As he's about to make his re-entry to Earth, this voice comes over the intercom from, Houston or wherever it is, Mission Control. And they're like, dude, look, the people of Earth don't want you back. I'm sorry, but if you can try to get to the moon, I think that's a good idea. Even if Bezos couldn't come back to Earth, I assure you that Amazon would continue because, see, he has created a beast that has a mind of its own. And therefore, you know, it'd be Susan Miller, who was the new head of Amazon, and she would be just as bad, if not worse, than Bezos is. Probably worse than Bezos is. She'd probably be a ruthless killer. So it wouldn't really matter. He could be out in space, he could be on Earth. You know, Amazon will continue to take over the world, whether Bezos is at the helm or not. So the final story in the week right now is that the Japanese camera company Canon has decided to create an AI system that will not let employees open the door to meeting rooms or other offices unless they're smiling. So let's talk a little bit about workplace shootings. You see, people always wonder, why did he do it? You've got some middle-aged worker at a company somewhere, and he's driving into work one day, and he thinks, shoot, I forgot my laptop. And so he turns around and goes back home. But when he gets to his home, he finds that his wife is in bed with his best friend. She then yells at him for interrupting and tells him to get the hell out, and she wants a divorce. Not really knowing what else to do, Tom gets back in his car and just goes to work. Then, when he gets to work, management informs him that they have now installed cameras all throughout the office that make smiling mandatory if you want to walk through any of the doorways. I'm just saying that in some cases that might be enough to... People always say that the way to stop those sorts of things is gun control, right? If we just made it more difficult to buy guns, or of course impossible to buy guns, then these things would never ever happen again. One might say that a better solution, not do things like this, to not install cameras above every doorway in an office that require a person to smile before going through that doorway. It's those sorts of dystopian technological uses that really rub people the wrong way. Anyway, now that I've probably said a bunch of ridiculously offensive things that are gonna get me kicked off of YouTube, that's all I've got for today. Have a good one. I mean, of course there'd be that like 2 or 3 guys who were like, I think it's a great idea. I love people like that. There's always those people that like, they see a bandwagon, they jump right on it. Just instantly, that's their instinct.